Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. Today is my college football game preview. It's the Clemson Tigers taking on the Syracuse Orangemen. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I surely appreciate here at 100 Yards of Football. I'm Vincent Turner, Mr. Football, and special thanks to my producer, Mr. Logan Landers. Big football game in the ACC this weekend, Syracuse and Clemson. Let me start with the Syracuse Orangemen. Got a pretty good defense, ranked ninth nationally in the country, giving up just 15 points a game. The last 2 weeks, they've been flawless. Last week against North Carolina State, they only gave up 9 points. And you think about their head coach, Dino Babers. Boy, a young man from Honolulu, Hawaii, grew up in San Diego, a gentleman that coached Jimmy Garoppolo, who's doing his thing with the San Francisco 49ers. He's got the Orangemen as one of the surprise teams in the country. But make no bones, Syracuse is going to come down to Death Valley up there in Clemson, South Carolina. They're going to do two things. They're going to play defense, and they're going to try to run the ball. I think they got one of the top 3 running backs in the country in Sean Tucker. Last week, he had 98 yards against North Carolina State. But think about this. In last year's game against Clemson, he had 157 yards. Very, very talented football player. A lot of people saying he might be the second coming of Floyd Licto, Ernie Davis, Jim Brown. But let's talk about the Orangemen's defense. I like their 2 linebackers, Mikael Jones and Marlo Wax. 2 best defensive players at that position you haven't heard from in this college football season. But I think this Saturday, you're going to hear a lot of them against Clemson. And then they got, I think, one of the top 5 cornerbacks that's going to enter the 2023 NFL draft, and Mr. Garrett Williams. Very excellent football player. 2 INTs on the year. 2.3 pass breakups. A guy that can shut down half of the field. Now let's move to the Clemson Tigers. I got to be honest with you. Really, really honest about the Clemson Tigers. Dabo Swinney, I got a lot of respect for you. It's just a different culture in Clemson that you can feel that Clemson over the years have been a tight-knit group. And make no bones, Dabo Swinney is one of the top 2 coaches in college football. What I like about him, man, he stuck with DJU. When last year Clemson went 10-3 and DJU struggled, but he stayed with that young man. And look what you got. This guy's a former 5-star. Look what you have. 1,665 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 2 INTs. And make a long story short, played very solid football last week against Florida State. 15-23, only 121 yards. But what I'm seeing is a young man, each game is getting confident and is starting to play at that NFL level. And then Will Shipley. I see why Clemson was very high on him as a freshman last year. Sophomore, he's starting to get his groove. 567 yards, 8 touchdowns. Last week had 121 yards against Florida State. But make no bones, the Clemson defense, a couple of weeks ago, they struggled against Wake Forest. But they're starting to get in a groove. They're still only giving up 22 points. But you look at it, and you look at it, Clemson, I expect them to be one of the teams in the college football playoffs. I think they're going to handle Syracuse on this Saturday at 12 noon, and simply because when you look at Clemson, they've had a lot of obstacles so far this season. Their young defensive tackle, Brian Breezy's sister passed, and I want to give kudos to the Clemson family. That is a major distraction. But think about it. They still got NFL talent. KJ Henry, Xavier Thomas, Miles Murphy, Trenton Simpson, 44 tackles on the year. A young man I seen play in high school that the media was killing 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest. He did struggle, Mr. Nate Wiggins. But the last 2 weeks, he's starting to play at that level of a guy that went to the same high school with A.J. Terrell. This is a very good Clemson football team that's getting better week in and week out. I love the quarterback. I love the coach up there at Clemson. Clemson is like, when you look at all the other schools on the national level, Before USC lost against Utah last week, I was very high on the Trojans, California, YA. Tennessee's had a big win with Hendon Hooker over Alabama this past week. Everybody here locally, I'm broadcasting live out of Douglasville, Georgia. We ain't talking about them Georgia Bulldogs who ranked number 1. But you know what? Quietly, it's nobody talking about the Clemson Tigers as being that team. They're saying, yeah, Clemson is good, yeah, Clemson is. But I guarantee you, this football team is getting better every week. And to the Clemson Nation, don't be so critical. Last week, you had a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter. That was a well-coached Florida State football team that was trying to survive under Mike Norrell and a quarterback that's been playing good, Jordan Travis. And I heard some of the Clemson pundits, net picking over that win 34-28 last week. See how your football team play this week. They're going to bounce back in a big way. Stop being so nitpicking. But you know what? Dabo Swinney has the Clemson Nation spoiled. He's had a lot of success and a lot of great players. Taj Boyd, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson. I can understand you, Mike Williams, Kristen Wilkes, Dexter Lawrence, A.J. Terrell. So I can understand why the Clemson Nation is spoiled a little bit. But y'all going to bounce back in a big way. I'm taking Clemson 24, Syracuse 10 this weekend. Clemson Nation, y'all in the house, baby. I like this football team. If you like the video today, please come in and share it here on 100 Yards Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And special thanks to my producer, Mr. Logan Landis, for making it happen today. God bless.